change it to the style of M.F. Hussain. Pura painting was there. To that style. That's the end goal. So how does he do it? Brush stroke by brush stroke, he writes the algorithm to copy Picasso. What a fantastic, which is the same way it has been done for fonts in the other. So he understands enough of technology, but he knows more than enough about painting for him to have seen the link between these two. And he made a movie. The first movie that he made was on Van Gogh. And he makes a 5-minute clip just to show us कि क्या हो सकता है. बीच में उस पिक्चर में one of the frames is the original Van Gogh painting. और आगे पीछे इसने जो कर रखा है. And you know the painting changes, it moves forward, backward, etc., etc. So he's done a full story. Everything else happens, और बीच में वो painting आता है, you won't know when the painting came in. So that's the end goal of what Oren is all about. And he believes that's the way it should be. So let me tell you another thing about Pixar and Toy Story and Disney. Picture kabhi nahi banate wo of a character that you and I have seen illustrated before. So you and I have read Phantom Comics. उसकी पिक्चर कभी नहीं बनने वाली. बिकॉज उनसे तो बन ही नहीं सकता वो सॉफ्टवेयर. So they create a new character, cars, and then they put it in. Because उसमें तो you have no preconceived notion on what the character will look like. Right? So they can't do all the old stories. We can do Winnie the Pooh in the style of the original illustrator. We can do any style. Actually, we can't do today, but that's where we are going.
But there's a problem with this company. So, took $250 million. How much was the technology in that? To make the movie, to make the animations and run it with the photo and with the camera and lighting and all that kind of stuff. How much was that?
50%.
Yes. 25%. $60 million was the technology. $180 million was marketing. To get the seat rights to show it in a movie, to show it on your TV when you're watching it, right? $250 million. We weren't going to go there. And would you see a movie made by Artiman Ventures presents something in Chandigarh? Would you see it? You won't see it, right? It's very tough. Walt Disney has to make those movies. They've got all these things lined up. So you'll find there are market insertion problems. So we had this technology. And now we are at a crossroads of what do we do with this technology? Clearly we can't make movies, it's too expensive. So let's come to India and make a movie. Be very inexpensive. $4 million I can make a movie. Great. We went and came here, we went around, what did we find? You guys saw, I think the last movie, the Road Romeo or something like that, right? Which had Saif Ali Khan. How many of you know there was such a movie? Nobody, right? So what we found was, we went to producers and asked them, would you make this movie? He said, $4 million. $4 million? Sure I can make a movie, but why would I make an animation movie? I would give $3 million to Shah Rukh Khan. I don't care what the movie is about, it will make me $10 million. I don't need your animation technology, I don't need a movie. So we found movies was not a right thing to do for this technology. But lo and behold, this was luck. And you need plenty of this as you go along. What happened 2 years ago? What are the biggest product that hit the market 2 years ago?
Avatar?
No, biggest product. Not a movie.
iPhone.
After iPhone, what happened? iPad. Now with an iPad, what can you do? You can see books on an iPad. So where was the market for this technology? How many of you have children? How many of you read to your children in the night? Right. What books do you read?
Picture books as of now.
Picture books. Okay. Which picture book do you read? Yeah, you have a Cinderella at home?
Yeah.
You have a Cinderella at home. How many versions of Cinderella are there? There are hundreds, by the way. You go to Chandigarh and buy Cinderella, it's very different from the Cinderella that you buy in, because it's just done by 2 publishing houses in Delhi. You just pick some Cinderella and you read it, right? But the author who writes Cinderella and the illustrator of the Cinderella has got a certain thing in her mind. That's exactly how she pictures Cinderella to be. You can't mess around with that. Like Phantom, you read Phantom. The Phantom has got to be that with that little purple cape coming there. You can't do it any other way. He's got to look like that. Amar Chitra Katha. You and I may not like how Hanuman looks, but that's how he looks. Amar Chitra Katha's illustrator has decided that is how Hanuman looks. Okay, Yudhisthira must have a mustache. I don't know. What's that? Sita should look really sexy and be like this. Right? That look and feel is the property of that illustrator. You can't change it. That's creative license, right? You can't change that. Now, with this technology, we can get all of those to life in an animation format. So when you're reading, by the way, you should go to, if you have an iPad, either go to oren.com or go to iPad Store, download an Oren app. There are 8 books right now. And those books are all animated versions of stories. Some stories that we've got authors to illustrate. And it's animated now. So when your child is reading a book, not only are you just reading, he or she can go and walk around and make it sing, you can make it dance, do a bunch of things. And the story itself is an animation. It's no longer a static story. So children's books is a great platform for us. And Oren has been now voted the top rated app in the children's books category on iPad. So this is but pure luck that iPad came on. Oren had the technology. We got some authors to put it on, and lo and behold, we had some titles to sell. We couldn't have made a $250 million movie. But these apps at $3.99, we can make 250 million of them. Right? So a lot of luck is involved as well. That was a good luck story. I have not told you about the other 2 or 3 companies that we had to shut down because we didn't find the technology cooperating with the market. Right? What else?
Next page, I think, is email ID.
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't borrowing the presentation, just note down the email ID. And that's our number.
So we are in Bangalore. We do intend to come around India ever so often, at least to Delhi, Bombay, Chennai, and now Chandigarh. It's a lovely city, by the way. It was my first visit over here, and now I'm just amazed that India can't have 200 of these cities. It's such a pity that if we put our minds to it, we can do it, but it's chaos everywhere else, right? But it's a lovely city, and hopefully I'd like to have more opportunities to come here and talk to you. So if you guys are in Bangalore, and we have video conference, we have call conference, so just because we're on the street doesn't mean that we don't look at plans from outside of Bangalore, we do it from all over India. So if you have the need to reach us, feel free to do that. And we'll be happy to talk to you even if you don't have a plan. If you need some guidance anywhere else, that's what we do. Thank you. Any questions?
I think we can take a seat. Thank you us. And we can read those, otherwise we can have suppose the entrepreneur comes in the funding one and he struggles. How do you decide on the next round? And how far can you go?
That's a good one, actually. So let's say we signed up and you got the money, and then things don't go as per plan. What happens? Is that your question? So we just have to tell you things never go as per plan, and we don't abandon jettison projects every time. this is why we are looking for that great team. And we are hoping that you will scurry around and find a way to go around. So let's say you assume that you would spend 500 man-hours and solve and reach up to this point so that the prototype would be ready. And you took enough funds for the 500 hours, 500 man-hours of man-days. At the end of 750 man-days, you run out of money and we still don't have the prototype. So what happens? So we all sit down to chat and see why you got stuck where you got stuck. And then we would give you probably more money. And we are actually reconciled to the fact that everything won't go as per plan. So the other question, when do we pull the plug? Oh, that's very difficult. Fortunately, as Ramesh said, we only had to pull the plug on 3 companies out of the 30 odd that we have done till now, which is, we only believe that we have been very, very lucky. But that's not a bad percentage actually, in the 11 years of our existence.
Do you encourage syndicate of VCs?
Always. Always. We will quite often do the first round by ourselves. Especially in India, because there are very few early stage VCs. But by the second round, we would like to bring in more objective people, because by now we have drunk your Kool-Aid along with you. So we have lost objectivity. So in the next round, most probably we will bring in another VC who will start all over again, bringing in objectivity. So we will form consortiums and we will bring others on the table. Even if we don't. I'll just take the first one while you. So the question is, top 1% of the startups are able to get VC funding. What are the options for the others, or how can they reach top 1%? I think that's a good question. So I think the word top 1% is where I don't get it. So, but yes, only 1% of the proposals which come and get funded. It's actually less than that. And that's only because, and that's why today's session, that's only because you're not articulating it enough or right. There is no screening for people who want to meet an Article Ventures. We meet anybody. So a lot of people just have a great idea while you're having a bath today morning and land up at our office. So that's never going to get funded. So you will have to detail it, and this is the level of thought. A lot of people get resentful because they just believe, let's just get started. They worry about all this data. Oh, that's not how it works. You can't do it. So this is the way it is. Especially if you come to an institution for money, there will be some degree of logic followed, some process followed before money is given. And we would like to believe it is good for you because it is so many years of your life too that you are putting into this project. And we would like both of us to be aligned on some logical terms. Right?
So very simply to add to that, you're all in the top 1% only get rejected. How do you know you're top 1%? You're there presenting to be in the majority, right? And there's several other hurdles to cross after that. We work with repeat entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter if you've changed your idea. It's all at the end of the day is a business opportunity. And the team that you bring to the table to solve that business opportunity. You need to have passion in building out a company and staying with it. If you're there to make a quick buck because everybody else is making a quick buck, 90%, 99% of the time, we just fail. There's a social networking company. I've seen my friend sell this company to this thing, so I'm also going to do it. If you're not really thought about the opportunity and the business that you really want to solve, I think you're going to have other problems You should really think about building out a company. And
But I'm just saying, today we exposed you to what, 50 questions. Personally, I think you should make a list of 100 questions when you sit down and write your business plan. And you should want answers to the 100. Otherwise, this is scary shit. What you're doing to yourself. I mean, this is like marrying a girl on the basis of a photo that you saw, right? Very scary.
which we already
Unfortunately.
we can tell you the stars on our backs. Next question was, does Auden work on Kindle? Not yet, but they work on Android. Kindle is coming up in the next few months. Who will ask the question?
Yeah.
What about service companies? Good question. So like I said, every VC is slightly different. There are VCs who fund service companies day in and day out. They know the business, they know what to do. We don't do service companies as a practice. Having said that, we do have one service company in our portfolio. But for us to look at service companies, we are not terribly excited about it. We're not good at it, fundamentally. And we don't know how to do acquisitions and stuff. So we don't.
So if I may add to what Ramesh is saying, as much as it is the ball, it is not just us picking you, it is you picking us too. So before you want to come to an argument or to somebody, look us up. Read our Janam-Patri too and see whether we are the right people for you. So we are going to be good only in something. And how do you find out about us? Look at the companies we have invested in. And ideally speak to the CEOs of the companies that we have invested in, even before you call on us. Just give them a call. Say, I was thinking of taking it to Artiman, do you think this makes sense? And you might, whatever you hear should make sense. Don't just knock on our door. We may not be right for you. And we haven't always been right for some of the companies that we have worked with.
Next question.
In fact, I came with another presentation today, which is how to date a VC. And I didn't take you through, you guys through it, because that's the next stage. Once you've made a business plan, then we talk about that. But that's the most important thing. So how you date? So everybody is not for you. From both sides.
Next question. How can one go about taking forward plus investment plus VC? So I think we covered a lot of that over here, but fundamentally, at least for us in the process, you can send us a little 2-page summary or a 1-page summary of what the problem is you're solving, using yourself. We read all our mails, we read every one of them. But if you've articulated it well, then we'll be able to get back to you sooner or faster. Otherwise, we're not experts on all of the fields, right? We know some fields well, so we know we can quickly get an answer. So if you articulate your problem well, we know who to talk to and figure out whether this is an area of interest for us and get back to you very quickly. So I would suggest having an executive summary that you can send to us to our email. And then we'll follow up with you. You can also follow up with us and say what's going on over here. And within about 2-3 weeks, we should get an answer whether we want to talk to you or this is not our domain of expertise and we're not interested in this. But you should expect that a funding process takes you anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. You put something in front of a VC and say, all right, I'm ready to go, you like the idea, in 2 weeks I want to know what's going on. It never happens, doesn't matter which VC you go to. It's going to take you at least 3 months in most VCs. The average is about 6 months from the time you start the process to getting it going. So better to have all your ducks lined up because each VC will ask you some different set of questions. I suggest that you should have practice and mock sessions with somebody that you trust and some mentor like Ty over here to help you formulate the answers to potential questions and get that all set up, because then it will go very fast with all of the different VCs. And you have articulated the problem, got the set right, and when you start the process, you should go in parallel, go to a number of VCs, and then your time starts ticking from that time, right? If you go one after another, then it's a serial process, because every VC will take its own different time. For example, we are not the fastest movers on the planet. But that's because of the nature of what we do, we're working on product companies and stuff like that. In some of the spaces might look a little faster. But that's how we would go about interacting with VC.
I think we on thank you guys for your titles you give to your talks and presentations. Thank you very much. We leave the floor open for a quick one-on-one interaction. And thank you again. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Arun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling us.
Oh, pleasure.
We enjoyed it.
Glad
So
to
the
be-
last thing we did in India was somebody like you that we met in a DICE session in Bangalore, and then we invested in that company. So that's why we are very fond of time. Time works for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.